welcome. You're watching NDTV and the winner is, of course, the Congress in Karnataka. Now the question is, who is the Chief Minister? And is that an answer we're going to find out today or tomorrow? We're expecting a press conference by the Congress party in just a short while from now. But let's just take a look at the numbers that we have with us and the results so far. And these are the results that have been declared, 219. So just about 5 seats remain to be declared, and the Congress at 134, it's up 55. The BJP 63, JDS, which has been a big loser, it seems, in this election at 19. Going forward, we're going to talk about what this result in Karnataka means for the Congress party, what does it mean for the BJP, and what does it mean for 2024? What worked for the Congress? Is it the 5 guarantees? Is it, as many congressmen will have us believe, Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra that's being given a lot of credit for the Congress's victory today in Karnataka? So in a short while from now, we're going to have that press conference, and the question, as we said now, is who will become the Chief Minister. But to talk more about these results, I'm joined in studio by V. Raghav. I'm joined also by former colleague Maya Sharma with us. Great to have you here, Maya. And Professor Chandan Gowda, R.K. Hegde Chair Professor, Institute for Social and Economic Change, and Shugata Srinivas Raju. Thank you for being with us. V. Raghav, let's start with you. And, a lot of analysis has been done through the day about these results and what worked for the Congress party. The Congress itself has spoken about how this is a, vote by the poor people. Rahul Gandhi spoke about how it's a victory of love over hate. Also, a lot of credit being given to the Bharat Jodo Yatra. But what do you think worked?
I think it was primarily keeping the campaign an extremely well-run campaign, which was kept on local issues, which captured from the start issues like corruption, creating a sense of anti-incumbency, and a totally coherent exercise. I think that's the local leadership needs to take maximum credit for it. Obviously, the national leadership will take a part of the credit as well. But in all fairness, I mean, I'm saying Rahul Gandhi could take part of the credit, but the primary credit for this entire exercise goes to the local leadership. And I think what Rahul may perhaps have to take credit for is also that while he was there in Karnataka, he didn't overshadow the local leaders. The local leaders were still the big focus.
And he brought them together as well.
They played the supporting role.
If we talk about DKS and Siddaramaiah.
It's DKS, Siddaramaiah, allowing Kharge, all the entire local state leadership of the Congress. I think they ran it coherently. They were the first to come out with their seats. They were the first to, they didn't have as much infighting and trouble as one saw in the BJP as well. So I think that's what
Or at least resolved that infighting early on, and we're waiting for that press conference. And Mr. Kharge, everybody came to his where he was, and there was a lot of, we saw the celebrations around. It's interesting. Mr. Kharge is playing a key. He's going to now decide on who's going to become the Chief Minister of Karnataka, role that he never got, even though he came very, very close. So in a short while, we will find out. And hopefully, with Mr. Kharge, do you think this will be resolved sooner rather than later?
He is from there. I mean, I think it was also an advantage for the Congress in that the party chief, the top guy, was actually from the state as well. I think that really helps as well. Yes, he came extremely, extremely close to becoming Chief Minister several times. Now, he feels, I think, that he's moved beyond that. Yes. And hopefully he should be able to sort this out peacefully. DK Shivkumar has gone on record to say that he would be happy working under Kharge if necessary, which I don't think Kharge will become Chief Minister, but it means that DK...
That would be a step down.
Yeah,
I know there was that very slight speculation, slight rumor, that was...
Yes.
That will Mr. Kharge take it finally?
Especially after Shivkumar's comment. But I think it means that he's ready to work with him. I think they all are. So they probably will agree to whatever he says.
All right, Professor Chandan Gowda, what do you think worked for the Congress here? Again, as I said, a lot of credit being given to the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the 5 promises that they made to the people of Karnataka. But yes, the energy that the Congress showed on the ground, the local leadership?
Everything Veera said, plus a couple of completely unexpected gifts.
Yes.
The BJP being cavalier about its Lingayat support base, sending off leaders like they didn't matter, and making statements saying that we're not going to depend on caste. I mean, we can clearly see how much Congress has gained in Lingayat dominated areas. It's a clear evidence for and there was a lull for a month between when the leaders were shown the door till the elections. No Lingayat Swamis were seen anywhere. We just wondering what was happening. Clearly, there was behind the scenes, anti-BJP mobilizing happening in favor of the Congress. If you look at the scheduled tribe seats, where Lingayats essentially drive the election, although it's a reserved constituency, almost all have gone to the Congress. And
including Sri Ramalu.
And the Dalit reserved constituencies, a big 2/3 have gone to the Congress. And we were expecting the BJP's declaration of internal reservation for a big chunk of Dalits, left and Dalits as they're called, would complicate Congress's performance, but that hasn't happened. Again, Congress has scored
All right, we'll just go across to my colleague. I just want to get Shagata in very briefly. And, you know, it's interesting, whether we speak to the Congress or the BJP, they all talk about Yediyurappa, the Yediyurappa factor in this election.
I think, yeah, I mean, the national media has been obsessed with the Yediyurappa factor.
But, two more things later.
Sure.
Yeah. But I will sort of wait until I sort of speak.
They say the BJP really missed a leader like Yediyurappa. There was nobody else.
What could the BJP have done with a 80-year-old Yediyurappa? They had to. It was a transitional election, which I've been saying since morning.
I'm saying we're hearing it from both the BJP and the Congress.
Yeah, I mean, I think the BJP has been a bit precautious in planning for its next 5 years or so. So, I mean, disturbing Yediyurappa, but they also co-opted him into the parliamentary board. Modi, you know, the biggest namaskar that Modi made to anybody in Karnataka was to Yediyurappa when the Shimoga airport was inaugurated. Yeah. So the symbolism was very high. They were trying to send this message across that we have not shelved him. See, there are several other factors. You know, I mean, I will put a lot of my money on a kind of anti-incumbency plus anger. You know, there are two separate issues in this election. So,
and
I mean, that is
some of the BJP are also saying that, well, you know, it always had this revolving door system in Karnataka. So they're kind of blaming the anti-incumbency.
Congress, I mean, the governments have been changed every 5 years, so that is there. But, you know, I'll put a lot of money on anger and anti-incumbency, where the BJP, surprisingly, did not counter the narratives that the Congress was building very effectively. For example, the corruption narrative.
And for once, the Congress was able to push its narrative
Congress
out
was playing two games. One, when it came to narratives, it was playing the BJP's game. When it, Veera pointed out correctly that it was playing the game of a regional party when it came to organization. So Rahul Gandhi can say love and harmony and hate and all that, but I think, you know, it was a completely different thing that was happening. And Bharat Jodo Yatra, in my personal opinion, had very little.
As much as they would like to have.
I don't think it was even mentioned, Gary. It was not even mentioned.
Now, today it was mentioned a lot because everyone we spoke to.
Bharat Jodo Yatra was not aimed at an election result, right? He was just
it was
just a yatra.
But I think the time he spent in Karnataka.
If you look at how they, you know, behaved when the yatra was happening, they did not speak about Muslims, or they did not even acknowledge.
Because at that time we were told this is an apolitical yatra, of course.
No, they were cautious. They were extremely cautious. Even while they were walking through Srirangapatna, they did not mention Tipu Sultan. They didn't want to make those mistakes, or quote-unquote mistakes. But now, you know, of course,
but today, of course, when the Congress has to give credit, then it has to, some way, come to the Gandhis and therefore Rahul Gandhi.
It's much like a television studio, right? Ultimately, Delhi would like to take the credit for all that success happens around the way. I guess that's the order of things in life,
and
right?
speaking of, Delhi studios, Chandan Gowda, you know, I think we all spoke a lot about Bajrang Dal and Bajrang Bali and the impact this would have on the ground. But again, I feel perhaps that was a lot spoken in Delhi studios, and on the ground it...
How big of an impact did it have? A big role. The Bajrang Dal factor has played a big role in at least two ways. It energized the BJP cadres and otherwise demoralized cadre that is confused about its leadership, you know, moves, etc. And then the Muslims
who were already convinced, they were anyway voting for the BJP.
The cadres became more active in mobilizing votes. Because the demoralization of the cadre is a serious factor because of the leadership, purging that was happening.
They had a new slogan.
It gave them a talking point. I mean, it's like a show that was going.
But that's what I'm saying. Was it just a talking point?
But the Congress
to attack the Congress and to discuss here in our news studios, but on the ground.
It is a cost-benefit analysis. How much do we lose? How much do we gain? What they lost by way of BJP's strengthening on the ground, cadre strengthening, was offset by the gains they got from the Muslims, which actually decisively meant defeat of JDS in many constituencies.
Away from the JDS and to the Congress party then.
I think, I just want to point out to you that you have Deva Gowda's biographer sitting with you. Sugata Srinivasaraju is Deva Gowda's biographer, and I think the JDS question is very important. Is it, did we see a split in the Vakaliga vote which resulted in the consolidation?
Have they emerged the biggest loser in all of this, and now with Mr. Deve Gowda, you know, at the age that he is now?
No, they have been the biggest losers. They've lost about 5% vote share. Perhaps they should have, I will give them credit for running a very good campaign. In fact, their program was far more impressive than what the Congress could put together. You know, the Pancharath Yatra or the Janata Jaladhare, the irrigational programs. It was logical, reasoned out well, but there is also, you know, in an election, a big election like this, when there is so much of anti-incumbency and anger, the electorate tends to sort of, you know, go on the side of the party which is more likely to win. And tactical voting of the Muslims
about whether the JDS would go with the BJP.
No, it was not. I don't think that question was very serious.
Okay.
I think the Muslims had a tactical sense to go with a party which was more likely to form the government. They didn't want to put them in a kind of, you know, I mean, hung situation. So they gave them a decisive thing. Also, what Chandan pointed out, you know, that's another factor. The Dalits. So the left Dalits also, you know, the biggest name, Karjol, has
Mr.
lost.
Kharge also
And Kharge
helped appeal to that vote
but
bank.
You know, the irony is, Gargi, 2008 when Kharge was leading KPCC, all the reserved seats went to Yediyurappa. Yeah. So, you know, it's a...
Well, we're also joined by Neeti Jain,
yeah.
BJP spokesperson, and Sujata Paul, spokesperson of the Congress party. Neeti Jain, first to you. We're discussing what went wrong for the BJP. In your view, where do you think the BJP faltered?
You know, let me begin by saying that very humbly and with much gratitude, we accept the mandate of the people. But everything that you're discussing right now, my very humble submission is that the BJP's vote share has been practically the same from the last election to this election. I think the Congress gain has mostly been the JDS vote share that has been transferred to Congress. So I don't think it is as much a loss of BJP as it is a win of Congress. Yes, Congress has won, but I don't think we have lost ground in Karnataka,
Well, it has gone,
so to say.
gone down. I mean, and of course, we'll take a look at it. And the Congress has gained tremendously.
Congress
Sujata
has,
Paul,
but that's 5% gain from the JDS vote share. It is not the BJP's vote
If the
share. I think
BJP
from
didn't lose vote share, it shouldn't
Of
have
course
lost
it-
seats as well. If
Well,
the BJP
let-
didn't lose vote share, it should. I mean, I'm saying that the
no, of
BJP
course,
may have lost
and I
vote
think
share.
Sujata should take that on. Sujata, go ahead.
No, I'll just give you the numbers on that, because last time also the Congress's vote share was more than ours, but we had
It
more
was, yes.
seats. So in 2018, I think the vote share for Congress was 38%, and they
And
had
36%
78 seats.
for the BJP.
And we had 36% vote share, and we had 104 seats. So I think that calculation somewhere you are more proficient in that. I am just a politician. But that somehow does not work in a similar
All right, but
fashion.
right now
But
we're
if
talking
from
about
36 we
you know
are-
the loss of that the complete rout that the BJP has faced in Karnataka. Congress getting 137 seats, BJP getting 65. Sujata Paul, your response to that?
Yes. You know, we ran a positive campaign, the Bharat Jodo Yatra, during the Bharat Jodo Yatra in the Karnataka
I have to
leg,
respond to that.
people, can I please complete? I didn't speak a
Yes,
word.
yes, go ahead, go ahead, yes.
So, you know, when the Bharat Jodo Yatra was passing through Karnataka, the kind of connect that people made with Rahul Gandhi, that showed us that people needed somebody to voice their problems. And it's a sad state of affairs that the BJP is still not being able to accept defeat in a sportsman manner. Why? Because if you remember, there was a video long years ago before Mr. Modi had arrived on the scene where Mr. Subramaniam Swamy was saying that yes, we get 33 to 35% votes, but the rest of the votes need to be divided. But the rest of the votes are what got consolidated this time because the campaign was positive. Our leadership was not ignored. Our leadership was responsible, the local leadership. Just as in the case of BJP, the local leadership was demeaned and derogated. They were nowhere to be seen because the road shows had to have only Mr. Modi and no local leader. In our case, our senior leaders, our national leaders were there all along, working extremely hard. But Mr. D.K. Shivkumar and Mr. Sitaramaiah, along with all the other leaders, were working on the ground and they were seen. They were being projected. So one must understand that you can...
All right, so you're saying that that is what worked for the Congress party here. And the question now that everyone's asking, we're going into 2024 and several other elections, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, is this some sort of template or a formula that the Congress now realizes does work for them, and this is something they should use in other states as well?
Certainly, every state has different requirements, but if you see the kind of governance that we've given in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, and the way we came in Himachal Pradesh when we contested on local issues, that tells us that when we are working and people recognize that, people know that the Congress works. Because if you go back to Karnataka, also Gargi, before Mr. Modi came in, Bangalore became the first startup, in fact, the startup capital of the nation. It had the first industrial park for women, and there were so many things. The health insurance, which was
all right. Though the same issues like Mehengai are going to come and bite you in Rajasthan, where you have been in power. Yes, Neeti Jain, quickly, and then I have to go across to where the Congress press conference will take place.
So I just want to make a very small point. From the morning, the Bharat Jodo Yatra is being, put up on a pedestal for some reason. The point is, this Bharat Jodo Yatra did not even go to Gujarat, that was heading to elections right at that time. And Rahul Gandhi wasn't even allowed to raise the points that he raised in the Bharat Jodo Yatra in the Karnataka election. So I don't know where, where Congress party is about all of this matter. The second thing being the positive campaign. Ma'am, I did not interrupt you. Please give me the same courtesy. The positive campaign that you're talking about, you went into an entire poisonous snake. You went into name calling the Prime Minister. You went into comparing two organizations and all of those things. So I don't see this as a positive campaign at all. The only thing being, the oldest party in this country has started taking lessons from the newest party in the country.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. We're just expecting the Congress, to make their address in just a short while from now. Well, look at that image, Maya and Mr. Kharge there holding everyone's hand, and they're all,
United we stand.
United we stand.
It's like the united opposition, when you have a united opposition or a grand alliance that comes down together. It's a united victory message there from the Congress party.
And just as we're waiting for them to begin, Maya, everyone's talking about 2024, and if quickly, what does this mean going into 2024? Or as everybody's also said, you can't extrapolate this, but surely a boost for the Congress party.
Yes, it gives them confidence. It gives them a feeling that it can be done. They can win an election.
And it impresses other opposition parties also. Let's listen into what Surjewala is saying.
आज इस विशेष पत्रकार वार्ता में मैं सबसे पहले कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष श्री मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे साहब, विधायक दल के नेता पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री सिद्धारमैया साहब, हमारे जुझारू अध्यक्ष प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी श्री डीके शिवकुमार साहब, कौंसिल लीडर बीके हरिप्रसाद साहब, मेरे वरिष्ठ साथी जिनका मार्गदर्शन लगातार हम पर हमारे साथ बना रहा, कांग्रेस भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस के संगठन महासचिव श्री केसी वेणुगोपाल साहब, वर्किंग प्रेसिडेंट्स, AICC secretaries, dignitaries on the dais. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each one of my journalist friends from print and electronic media who's present here in this special press conference. I also thank all the enthusiastic leaders and workers of the Congress party who are present here as part of this special press conference. I assure you, you are on this dais in spirit, if not physically. Today is a historic occasion. Karnataka has created history. Karnataka has shown a new light for democracy, not only for people of Karnataka but for the entire country. ताली आप ना बजाइए, सिर्फ सुन लीजिए, मुझे आपके जोश की मैं कदर करता हूं. From the bottom of my heart, on behalf of my colleague K.C. Venugopal ji, myself and each congressman and women, millions and millions across the country, I want to thank 6.5 crore brothers and sisters of Karnataka, our fellow Kannadigas. This is a victory of every Kannadiga. This is a victory of every voter of Karnataka. This is not a victory of the Congress party alone. Today, the Swabhiman of Karnataka, the brand Karnataka, that has truly won. And I thank our fellow Kannadigas from the bottom of my heart on behalf of Indian National Congress and Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee. This is a victory also of each and every toiling Congress worker and Congress leader who gave it all to ensure that Karnataka is free from a 40% corrupt government of the BJP, who toiled so that brand Karnataka could be rebuilt and path of progress and prosperity could happen again. I thank each one of our fellow Congress workers and Congress leaders. This is also a victory for my PCC president, my CLP leader, and the entire team of our MLAs, ex-ministers, ex-MLAs, PCC office bearers, working presidents. Siddaramaiah ji, DK Shivkumar ji, this is also truly a victory, and I congratulate both of you in particular. And above all, this is a victory for our guiding light, the President of the All India Congress Committee, who was there with us throughout, toiling much harder than a young person, going one constituency to another. Sir, this is a victory for you. I also take this opportunity to particularly thank Shrimati Sonia Gandhi ji, without whose blessings, despite her not keeping so well, she make it a point. She called Khadge Saab, she called Venu Gopal ji, she called CLP leader, she called PCC president, and she said, I also want to come, and she contributed, and she proved to be a lucky mascot, if I may say. It is special thanks to Srimati Sonia Gandhi from each and every worker. And I'll be failing in my duty if I will not thank our hero, our leader, a person who only guides us, a person who toils selflessly, a person who takes all the brickbats but never takes credit, the one and only Shri Rahul Gandhi ji. He traveled he walked for 600 kilometers almost. For 22 days he was with us in Karnataka. No wonder I was looking that almost every constituency that Bharat Jodo Yatra touched, that constituency Congress party has won. The Congress flag is flying there. Wherever Shri Rahul Gandhi ji went, almost 80-85% of those seats we have won. I thank Shri Rahul Gandhi on behalf of my PCC President DK Shivkumar ji, on behalf of my CLP leader, also on behalf of Khadge Saab, for spending so much time during the campaign. We almost feel he is a part of Karnataka, he is a Kannadiga. I especially also thank one more person who, by her words, by her road shows, by her affection and affiliation to the Congress workers, energize our cadre, Srimati Priyanka Gandhi ji. Despite keeping a little unwell at that point of time, she never backed out. Every single public meeting we requested her to come for, she came, she addressed, she mingled, she absolutely shared the affections and blessings of Kannadigas. I also take this opportunity to specially thank Srimati Priyanka Gandhi ji. Friends, before I call upon Honorable Congress President, I want to say two more things. प्रजातंत्र को बचाने का एक नया मंत्र इस देश में कर्नाटक ने आज दे दिया है. Karnataka has given a new mantra to save democracy in India. So this is not a victory that is restricted to Karnataka. It's a pathway to save democracy and save constitution across India. I don't want to use the word of our Prime Minister, who often speaks about Congress Mukt Bharat. but people of Karnataka have ensured that BJP Mukt South India has happened. It's also an answer to the politics of divisiveness, politics of hate, politics of...
All right, so there you can see the press conference and Mr. Surjewala addressing the media, addressing the workers. We've seen the celebration since the morning after the Congress has won so decisively in Karnataka with 137 seats. The big question now is, in the suspense, is who is going to be the chief minister? Is it going to be Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, or is it going to be Siddaramaiah? And we're waiting for that answer. I don't know if we'll find out today or by tomorrow, Maya. That's the big question, when we're going to find out who will be the next chief minister. But look at that image that we saw earlier of, all of them united.
Yeah, I don't think we'll find out today. I think there'll be the usual CLP meeting. Mallikarjun Kharge said observers will come, central observers will come in from Delhi in order to take that decision. And then there will be election to choose the leader. It will take a day or two at least.
Sure.
But I'm thinking it will be smooth. I don't think...
With Mr. Kharge in charge, and as we were discussing earlier, he never could become the chief minister, but today he's going to, have a big say in who becomes the chief minister.
So I think externally at least it will be a smooth process.
In fact, Mr. Kharge there has got up to speak as well. And once again, we saw that much credit being given to the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a narrative that they've decided to keep using, plugging everywhere. It's clear because everyone is mentioning that. Even Jairam Ramesh tweeted saying that, listing all the places where that gone.
ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಜಯಭೇರಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷ ಈ ಸಲ ಭಾರಿ ಬಹುಮತದಿಂದ.
Right, so Mr. Kharge they're addressing the gathering, and right now we're still waiting to find out who will be the chief minister. That question might be answered tomorrow when the CLP meeting takes place. Today they had a high-level meeting of the Congress party, but discussions on what this victory of the Congress in Karnataka now means, and when we say that 2024 going forward, we can't extrapolate this to the general elections, but definitely for the Congress, it's a big surge for them. It's enthusiasm among their among their cadre, among their workers going forward into several state elections as well, and also about what this means in terms of negotiations with other opposition parties, because we've seen that so far there have been various issues with other opposition parties. You have Mamata Banerjee congratulating the people of Karnataka for this decisive mandate that they've given. So that is where it's going to come into play, isn't it?
That's right, Gargi. I mean, this election is definitely a morale boost for the Congress party. There is no taking away that at all. But when we say that we can't extrapolate it for 2024, what we mean is that you can't do the things that you did in Karnataka nationally. For example, can they sort of be very categorical about a communal organization in their national, while they speak about it at the national level? Will that be used by Modi differently? So will that, be applicable in North Indian states? So for example, in Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh, can they sort of say that they are going to ban X, Y or Z? So I mean, things will be completely different. They'll have to play Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh entirely differently. But
then you're giving a lot of credit to the whole Bajrang Dal issue.
Yes.
In the sense, that's one example that I'm flagging. You can't, this is a model which has worked, and this model has worked for several other reasons as well. So you can't replicate that model in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, which go to elections before 2024. And one other point you were, I just thought I should just give a historical fact. See, Kharge, Mr. Kharge, as you said, may not want, it will be a come down to become the chief minister because he is the AICC president. But historically, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy was both chief minister and AICC president. Please don't forget that.
All right.
This is
At the
something
same time,
at the same time. Yes,
okay.
at the same time. So there is a precedence in the Congress.
But now the rule in the Congress is, one person,
that has been
one
violated.
role.
The Udaipur declaration thing
Yes.
has been violated long back. But Neelam Sanjeev Reddy was AICC president and the chief minister at the same time. So there is I'm not saying that will get applicable now. I'm just trying to draw your attention to a historical fact.
Just quickly and then I have to take a break.
Gargi, the thing about the Lok Sabha election, it's two-sided, right? One is how many seats can you win in Karnataka. The other thing is what kind of a signal will you send to the rest of the country by how you appear to be someone who is capable of leading an opposition front. That seriousness has to be worked out very properly in the sense of how, for example, how does it treat the opposition in the Karnataka, which could be potentially its ally, which was part of the United Front in the mid-90s, as you know. That being just one angle. And I think because it has massive Lingayat support, massive Okkaliga support, how it manages them, ministerial berths, etc., all of that will matter for how the Lok Sabha will turn out. Although the state decides differently usually.
Right.
But I think they will go a long way.
Well, we'll talk about that more. We're also joined by Mr. Sanjay Kumar, a psephologist with CSDS. Thank you so much for being here with us. We'll slip into a short break and return with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. There you can see the Congress is addressing a press conference, addressing their workers after the resounding victory in Karnataka, leading in 137 seats there. The BJP 65, the JDS at 19. And the question now is who will become the Chief Minister of Karnataka? There's already been one high-level meeting. Tomorrow is when the CLP will meet. And then perhaps that decision will be taken. Remember, much has been made of the fact that both Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar have made their aspirations to become Chief Minister known. There you can see Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. Between both of them and the Congress today, all day we've seen celebrations outside the Congress's office. And the BJP, however, what does this now mean for them, especially going forward in 2024? What is the impact of this election on the general political landscape of the country? That's what we're talking about. Well, let's now go across to our guest, and Sanjay Kumar now joining us. Sanjay Kumar, if you could, what is your analysis of the results that we've seen? While a lot of the exit polls had given the Congress, an edge, a majority, but this has been quite a resounding victory for them.
Certainly, if we look at the numbers, Congress has won or likely to win 137 seats. So it is a convincing victory. Look at the vote percentages, 43%, up by 5% compared to the last assembly election. So while there are lots of an excitement within the Congress party, and reasons are very obvious that Congress party has registered such a resounding victory in Karnataka, but I think everybody started looking at the template. Is there a template which can be replicated by Congress party in other states as well as in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, which can help Congress in winning elections in other states? I think there are two. If I try to look at the template, there are two templates: local leadership and local issues. I think if Congress goes by these two templates, it can help Congress in fighting BJP, fighting against the BJP in the assembly election. But I don't think this can be the template for the Lok Sabha election, which is due in 2024.
Sure, but it does help the Congress in terms of, as we said, rejuvenating the cadre, but also in terms of talking to other opposition parties, which has always been a bit of a challenge to the Congress, given how budget has weakened.
On the first, I agree that the workers are rejuvenated, excited, more, enthusiastic about going into the election. But on the second point, does it help the Congress in moving forward for opposition unity? I think that's
at
not
least it comes from a place of a little better strength than it was earlier.
That's going to be a hurdle, because winning Karnataka would mean Congress would think that they have become stronger. There is a mood in favor of the country, in favor of Congress. So when it comes to any talks with other regional parties, Congress is going to take a much stronger position.
Manisha Priya?
I think there is more than a script coming out of this election. It's a very important election. All the states down south of the Vindhyas are not with the Bharatiya Janata Party. This was the only southern state that the BJP had a chance to get into. The narrative that comes out now, that caste is class, very, very class-like issues that seem to be being raised, especially articulated by the Congress party. The agenda itself,
the pro-poor push that they had.
Absolutely. The manifesto itself, we all had a lot of our differences with what the manifesto had to offer, but a clearly aligned bottom of the pyramid manifesto that seemed to be ringing a bell with what the poor are saying in this country. So the revival of a pro-poor class politics, a left of center agenda, and top that up with the Kolar rally, where the very same place where Mr. Rahul Gandhi had made a speech, perhaps hinting to a particular block of caste that felt that their sentiments were hurt. At that very place, Kharge and Rahul Gandhi come back and talk about a caste-based census as an important answer to what is the current malaise with the poorer, the bottommost of the social hierarchy in India. Now that last one and the pro-poor class-based agenda is going to be a narrative that can be transported south of the Vindhyas. Remember, Karnataka has been that lab which gave to us the Garibi Hatao agenda. Many of the welfare programs that the North Indian states today
So the Congress have been speaking pro-poor, talking about mehengai, but do you think here they managed to translate it better and have it resonate better?
Rahul Gandhi, who none of us were willing to accept as a leader, the Bharat Jodo Yatra roots seem to have won them many more seats than anyone expected. The victory last
yes, because that is what they say. In fact, we heard Mr. Surjewala saying that along the route that he took, that they've managed significant victories
we
along
still
that
have to
route.
see the data, but the important victories coming in Mumbai, Karnataka, where the Pancham Shalis had been up in arms. It's an area where just 2 years ago on the Karnataka Rajyotsav Day,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're just going to have to go across to Mr. Kharge. He's now speaking in Hindi.
More than 40 ministers और वहां देखो उसके ऊपर से चीफ मिनिस्टर आए उधर से, कोई आया उत्तर प्रदेश से, कोई आया दक्षिण भारत से, कोई आया दक्षिण भारत में तो नहीं है छोड़िए, तो उधर ईस्ट से आया, कोई वेस्ट से आया, कोई सेंट्रल से आया, सब लोग आए, लेकिन आखिरी में नतीजा क्या हुआ? जो हम चाहते थे, जो यहाँ कर्नाटक की जनता चाहती थी, वही नतीजा निकला और आज हम जो पार कर रहे हैं। और एक मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा हमारे लोगों को, ನಮ್ಮ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನಮಗೊಂದೊಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಗಾಬರಿ, ನಮ್ಮವರೇ ಗಾಬರಿ ಪಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ರಿ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ, ಅದು ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಂಗೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ರಿ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ರಿ. ಅರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಬರ್ತದಂತ ಜನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವಾದ್ರೂ ಗಾಬರಿ ಪಟ್ಟಿ ನಾವು ಬರ್ತದೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿ ಇವನಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿ ಇದೂ ನಡೀತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಜನ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನಡೆಸಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ 5 ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಏನಿವೆ ಅದು ಪಕ್ಕಾ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. पूरे 5 गारंटी काम किए, महिलाएं, युवा और दलित, पिछड़े सभी लोग, इवन जो जिनकी इनकम कम है वो सभी लोग, प्राइस, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, ये सब को देखते हुए उन्होंने काम किया. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡು, ಅನ್ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ, ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ, ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ 40% ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಇದು ಬೇಡ, ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಮ್ಮತದಿಂದ ಜನ ನಮಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು 136 ಸೀಟ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದರ ಉಪಯೋಗವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಮುಂದೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ದಿನಗಳು ಇನ್ನೂ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟದಿವೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಕನ್ಯಾಕುಮಾರಿಯಿಂದ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರ ತನ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ನಿಂದ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಗುಜರಾತ್ ವರೆಗೆ 2024ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇರು ಊರಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇರನ್ನ ಕಿತ್ತು ಹೋಗಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಜನರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಕೆಲವು ಜನ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ.
All right, Chandan Gowda, so there Mr. Kharge also talking about the same issues that we said were appealing to the electorate, especially the pro-poor agenda, and once again making that promise that we are going to fulfill those 5 promises we made to the people.
Yes, I mean, he's leaving no ambiguity about that. And he's saying, it's interesting, he's saying we should develop strong roots here. I mean, the Congress has strong roots already, but tells you something about how the Congress had begun to think of itself as a party that was that become vulnerable. But anyway, he's calling for unity. He's saying, you know, this will stand us in good stead in the elections to come, the Lok Sabha as well as state assembly elections elsewhere, etc. It's just, you know, it's the...
Sure, and also talking about the women voters, and that'll be interesting to see how much,
he didn't
you know,
talk
the
about
promises.
The women voters, I think.
He said the women, the Dalits, you know, the
women first of all, he said, women, youth, then...
and unemployment. So all these issues, you know, that in the past also the Congress has spoken about, but managed to put its messaging out very clearly in this election, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Congress is messaging this election, and the manner in which they sort of, I told you earlier that they played the BJP's game. They took a lesson from the BJP in communicating effectively. And, you know, I mean, they did not, like the BJP, you know, I mean, messed up a lot of narratives. Initially, they tried Hindutva, it did not work. 10 months before the election, they moved to caste, and then, you know, I mean, half-heartedly they countered their, you know, corruption narrative, and then there was a Lingayat narrative, there was a Lingayat versus Brahmin narrative. All these things sort of got confused as far as the BJP was
interesting, Maya,
concerned.
what we've seen is that their vote share has not gone down significantly, which is what the BJP, you know, leaders who have come like to talk about, but they have lost out in areas that were their bastion, and they've got support in other areas.
Yes, I think one of the leaders this morning said that we never lose an election, we learn. So they have lost a lot in areas which were very much theirs, whether it was the Bombay Karnataka region, whether it is the North Karnataka region, and also to a certain extent in coastal Karnataka, and that really is a big surprise because coastal Karnataka is again something we simply say, yes, BJP, that kind of thing.
That's right.
So that's another area where it's not as much of a loss as in the other two, but they have lost places there, and of course the old Mysuru region was never really their stronghold to start with. That was always kind of Congress, JDS shared between them. But in those areas, those other areas, they really lost a lot. 20 seats, I think, in the
right, and Manisha Priyam, so now for the BJP, we've been talking about 2024, so the larger picture, but talking about just Karnataka, for them the crisis now is to, you know, have more leaders emerge. We can't just be talking about Mr. Yediyurappa.
No, for the BJP in 2024, the only option now is to have a clear Prime Minister Modi-led program, which is a national program, and appeal to that part of the Karnataka, which is a very, very national sentiment oriented.
That is separate, of course, 2024,
BJP,
you know, Prime Minister Modi, it has all different issues. I was saying in Karnataka for the BJP now, for the next couple of years going forward.
So the point that I'm trying to tell you is that till 2024, the BJP will not be able to fix its house locally in a way. They'll immediately gear up, however, to look at this as a benchmark and to gear up for the national elections. So the fixing up of the local house in a locally regenerative sort of way is something that will have to await some time. At this point of time, the team that is very much a centrally created team, centrally handheld team, that team may not have done so well, but it's held its ground in terms of vote share. If not here, then somewhere else. It will have to deliver on behalf of Mr. Narendra Modi and for 2024. Now, what they will do then is to look at the package of central sector schemes, those that are clearly identified with the Prime Minister, and appeal to the electorate. And that sentiment of the Kannadiga electorate, that's also clearly Rashtriyam and Bharatiyam. You know, if you look at Kuvempu's poetries, and there are so many authorities here, I'm not the one. That sentiment is very strong in a Kannada-speaking individual.
All right, well, let's now listen in to Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar, the man who could be the next Chief Minister.
Siddaramaiah Sabre, ACC General Secretary, Organization Venugopal Sabre, ACC General Secretary in charge, Sujwara Sabre, Hari Prasad Avare, Virod Pakshada Nayakuru, ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಧ್ಯಕ್ಷಗಳು, ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ACC ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಇನ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಲ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರೀಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪೇನ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಖಂಡಗಳೇ, ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರೇ, DK ಸುರೇಶ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನೂ ಹೆಸರು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಈಗ ಇದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಗೋಷ್ಠಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರೆದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಯ್ತು, ತಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಭವನ, ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರ ಭವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಆಡಿಟೋರಿಯಂ. ಈ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಭಾರತವನ್ನ ಜೋಡೋ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಆಗಿ ಫಲಿತಾಂಶ ಹೊರ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಗೆಲುವಲ್ಲ, ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವ್ರ ಗೆಲುವಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರೋರ ಗೆಲುವಲ್ಲ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನತೆಯ ಗೆಲುವಿದೆ.
If I can request you, if you could just, translate a bit for us what he's saying.
ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಂತ ಗ್ರಹಣನ ಇಂದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಜನರು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಂತ ಕಣ್ಣೀರನ್ನ ಇವತ್ತು ಒರೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಜನರ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ನಗು ಅರಳುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಗ್ರಹಣ ಬಿಡಿಸಿದಂತ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನತೆಗೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಯನ್ನ ಹೃದಯಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂತ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ
Talking about the smiles on people's faces and how personally and from the party's perspective he
ನಮ್ಮ
thanks.
ಗೆಲುವಿಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾರಣಕರ್ತದಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದಂತಹ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಸಾಹೇಬರಿಗೆ, ಸೋನಿಯಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಯಕರಾದಂತ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಕಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ವೇಣುಗೋಪಾಲ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಸುರ್ಜಿವಾಲಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಹಗಲು ರಾತ್ರಿ ದುಡಿದಂತವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಅಭಿನಂದಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದು ಬರೀ ಗೆಲುವಲ್ಲ, ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರದ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಗೆಲುವು, 40% ಕಮಿಷನ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಗೆಲುವು,
corruption,
ಬೆಲೆ ಏರಿಕೆ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಗೆಲುವು, ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಕಷ್ಟಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಗೆಲುವು, ಗೃಹಿಣಿಯರ ಕಣ್ಣೀರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಇದು ಗೆಲುವು, ಯುವ ಸಮುದಾಯ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಗೆಲುವು, ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಯ ಗೆಲುವು. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಗೃಹಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಬೆಳಗಲಿದೆ. ಖರ್ಗೆ ಸಾಹೇಬರು, ಸೋನಿಯಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು, ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು, ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಕಾ
The
ಗಾಂಧಿ
tears,
ಅವರು,
the struggles of the farmers, the Congress will be helping that.